How to use your hyperfocus to get things done. It's no doubt that we with ADHD often struggle so much with staying focused. However, on the other hand, not everyone is aware of our exceptional ability to hyperfocus for hours at the same time. So how do we channel this special power to hyperfocus on the right things that will help move us forward? Although hyperfocus is not something that we can decide when for it to happen, by setting up the ideal environment, it will make it easier for us to take advantage of this asset. Number 1, set up your workspace in advance. Before you start your workday, make sure to set up your desk or workspace with all the things you need for the task you plan for that particular day. This might include all the documents, materials, water, snacks, anything you may need within reach for that deep work session, so you won't need to frequently get up from your desk to go get it every few minutes. It might not seem like much, but a few small interruptions are enough to break your hyperfocus state, and we want to absolutely avoid that. Each time you stop your current task to switch your focus to something else, it will distract you from the deep focus state you were in before, and it might take 20 to 30 minutes, sometimes even longer, to get back to it. Therefore, it is super important to plan your day in advance so your brain will know exactly what to hyperfocus on, or it will choose whatever activity that grabs its interest in the moment and decide to focus on the wrong thing once it's triggered. Like browsing endlessly on Amazon for things that we don't really need. I'm sometimes guilty of this before getting to the actual important work for the day, and we don't want that to happen. Number 2, day theming. Most of you are probably familiar with the concept of time blocking, and day theming is another variation of time blocking, but for the whole day. Theme days are strategically planned days in your calendar which are completely dedicated to one single thing. It can be working on a certain goal in your life, a personal or professional project. An example of theme days would be Elon Musk. He works at SpaceX on Monday and Tuesday, and then at Tesla on Wednesday and Thursday, returning to SpaceX on Friday. Another example is Jack Dorsey, the co-founder and former CEO of Twitter. On Monday, he focuses on management and running the company. Tuesday is focused on products. Wednesday is focused on marketing and communications and growth. Thursday is focused on developers and partnerships. Friday is focused on the company and the culture and recruiting. Saturday, he takes off and goes for hiking. Sunday is reflection, feedback, strategy, and getting ready for the week. The main purpose of day theming is to group similar activities into one day to avoid distraction or interruptions and to obtain optimal focus on a particular task. When planning for the week, you can block off a few days in a week only for deep work sessions, focusing on one thing at a time without any other interruptions. For example, Mondays and Fridays are admin days. These 2 days are reserved for meetings, emails, calls, planning your week. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays are dedicated to deep work with as little interruptions as possible. If I set up my week this way, I won't expect myself to get much work done or be productive on Mondays and Fridays, and that's okay. I find that it is more productive this way for some of us, since it normally takes us some time to get into that deep focus state. For me, it varies from day to day. Some days it only takes 30 minutes. Other days it might take 1 to 2 hours. Don't you hate it when you just got into a deep focus and started to make some great progress on your important project, then had to stop right there to do something else you planned for that day? When tomorrow comes, you have to start it all over again to get to that point. For me, I want to dedicate 100% of my attention and focus on the task at hand and get it all done in one go, if that's possible. Number 3, avoid all distractions before you start. We've all heard this advice before, but it's extremely important to reiterate. Avoid checking your phone, emails, social media, any other activity that might distract you from your main goal of the day, even if it's only for 5 minutes. Because 5 minutes can easily turn into 30 minutes or an hour. Once we get sucked into those distractions, it might be extremely hard for us to pull away from it and get back to work. Keep your phone on silent mode or in a different room to avoid the temptation to constantly check your phone. Number 4, take advantage of hyperfocus moments during the day. Although hyperfocus may be our special ability, it doesn't always show up when we need it most. Therefore, I think it's important to seize these hyperfocus moments once they become throughout the day and not to let them slip by. For someone with ADHD like me, these are precious moments to get a big chunk of my work done, and I always try to take full advantage of it when it comes. Sometimes it means I have to skip certain steps in my daily routine or simplify them as much as I can to get down to work as soon as possible. Or that means you need to move some tasks around to accommodate this if possible. Because sometimes hyperfocus strikes when you least expect it to, so always be prepared to make the most out of it. I hope you all found this video helpful, and I'll see you soon in the next one.